Alrighty, welcome back to episode 3
Above Average
of Above Average Podcast. So, as you guys know, last episode, Eve was the host and I was the guest. And
roles reversed.
Yeah, can you
How
take a guess?
the table has turned.
Yeah. So, I, Nancy, will be your host for today in today's episode.
Yeah.
Well, Eve gives us a little bit more info and a dive deeper into who she is. So yeah, Eve, remind us how tall you are and
little intro. Yeah. So I'm 6'6". My name's Eve McGill, Evelise McGill. I grew up in kind of all over Iowa. I started in Stone City, Iowa. It's very small, tiny.
Yeah, tell us the population.
I'm not sure, don't fact check me or anything, but I think it was around 1,500
people total in the town.
In the town.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't fact check me. I really don't know.
I mean, I've never heard of it. So.
And then I moved into Cedar Rapids, Iowa for a little bit. I grew up on the farm, so we decided to come closer to schools. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have to take a 40-minute bus ride up and over the hills to get to school every day. I was there for a while. I actually lived in Washington, D.C. for a year. My dad went out there for some
How did
schooling.
I not know this? You
really?
never told me this.
I thought we talked about it last night.
No. Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely
but no,
not.
I lived in Washington, D.C. for 1 year. I don't really remember it. I think I was 6, I want to say. I remember it a little bit. But wait, how old are you when you're in preschool?
I don't know.
Well, I was in preschool when I lived in Washington, D.C.
Does that even count as living in Washington?
We lived there for a year.
A year?
A whole year. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we came back.
Seattle for a year. Okay, touche.
Okay, yeah. And then we came back, and then I went to Xavier High School. It was a Catholic school. Pretty small. I think my graduating class was around 90 or so kids.
How was it attending a Catholic school? Because I'm Catholic myself, and the only Catholicism thingamabob I did was go to Sunday school. My mom did not put me in Catholic school.
Yeah. So I've said this since I went to Catholic school. I would never put my kids through Catholic school.
Why is that?
Not because of the Catholic faith, but because of the dynamic it gives the school.
Okay.
For my particular high school, it was you had to pay to go there. Obviously, it was a private school. Mm-hmm. So you had the kids that could pay to go to the school that were rich enough, and the kids that were on scholarship to go there. Mm-hmm. And it kind of became its own little ecosystem where the kids that from not a good background or were there on scholarship or were in troublesome homes, foster homes, would supply drugs to the kids that could afford it. And it was bad. There was a lot of drugs and cocaine in my high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was not good. And it was very destructive. Just not a good place to grow as a person. Yeah. I made a lot of friends there. I had a great experience, not to say anything bad about my experience or the school. It was just kind of how how the dynamic worked out.
Yeah.
The guys of my class were horrible.
Really?
So destructive, so disrespectful and everything. I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of it, but it just wasn't good.
That's crazy.
But like I said, it has nothing to do with the Catholic aspect of it. I don't want my kids to grow up sheltered from the world.
Yeah.
So I want them to have all those good experiences,
For sure.
Get to know different cultures and stuff like that, and not just be in their own little bubble.
Yeah. No, that's understandable.
And I want them to have the choice of religion and all those different things.
I get that.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do. I feel like I took psychology class on it, but the stricter the parents, the more rebellious the kids are. And so that's what I hope that I never have to encounter.
My parents were very in between. They definitely let me do my own thing and make my own decisions.
Likewise.
But they cracked down on some things.
Likewise.
Yep. Yeah.
Old Dolores, but
it's not like I did anything bad though.
Yeah, no.
I was not a bad kid. I was not rebellious. I didn't do anything too special.
I mean, I would let a curse word slip out every now and then.
I wasn't talking about language. I curse like a sweat.
Really?
Sailor. Yeah.
No, I remember I called my younger brother a word, and as soon as it came out, I was like, oh crap.
You got the belt.
So, well, I sprinted to my room, locked myself in my room. I did not come out for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
I just knew my mom was waiting with me.
Yeah.
Or waiting for me with that belt. So, I mean, yeah. But that, I get that. I think Catholic school, I mean, pros and cons. But, so that was high school. What... You were recruited for volleyball. How was that recruiting process for you? Where did you go? Give us a little bit of background on that.
So this is back when the recruiting rules for the NCAA was way different
than it is now. Different. It's ridiculous.
So if you guys are like, oh, this isn't true, they can't do that. So different now from when I was recruited and Nancy was recruited. So I was recruited for volleyball ever since 7th grade. I did club volleyball since, I believe, 5th grade. I started on a team called Rapid Spikers. Yep.
That's cute.
Rapid Spikers. We were the first team ever to make it to nationals.
Congrats.
So they made a huge, life-size poster of us and, hung it up in the gym. It was amazing. Everybody loved it. But we got absolutely creamed. I don't think we won a game at nationals. We got a trickle.
Hey, you win some and you lose some. You win some and you lose some.
So for people that don't know how volleyball works, or how it used to, I'm not sure how it does now, but you would go to regionals, and if you got first or second place, you would get a bid to nationals. But there's other ways you could get bids if you went to national qualifiers and won those. So we got, I believe, 4th place at regionals, but the top 2 teams already had bids from national qualifiers.
Gotcha.
So they trickled down to 3rd and 4th place. So by the skin of our teeth, we made it to nationals. Barely made it. But that was the start. Made it to nationals. I fell in love with volleyball. It was, and then I went to nationals every single year after that.
Wow.
I went to Rapid Spikers for 2 years, and then the next year I went to Rockets, which is a different local club, for 1 year, and then I went to my place that I went ever since, which is Six Pack. It's not controversial or anything, but they are the best club in Iowa. Y'all can fight me on that, but their reputation, it stands for itself. It was a recruit-only club then, so there weren't tryouts or anything like that. They saw you and they're like, hey, come play for our team. And then I stuck with them ever since, and I love them. I would recommend them for anybody. And they were great throughout the recruiting process, helped me a lot, especially developing not only just volleyball skills, but developing strength and agility and all those different things. And I remember we would go to national qualifiers, and then just college teams just started showing up on my court and watching. And I was like, what was I, 13? And I was there.
Young. Especially when you're a tall girl, they are rare to come by. So as soon as a college coach sees any girl over 6'3", you're on their radar.
They snipe them out. They snipe them out.
You're on the radar. It's like a fire going off. So
so they started showing up and watching me play. I don't know about you, but when I was in middle school, I shot up before I shot out, if that makes sense. I was in middle school. I was probably around 6 foot to 6'3".
Okay.
Barely breaking 100 pounds.
You were a twig.
I was a walking twig. But they're like, this girl, she's got the potential. She's tall. Right. I would say around 8th grade-ish is kind of when I actually got my actual skills, not just being tall in volleyball. But I remember going on recruitment visits all over the United States. I just took one summer. I think it was between my 7th and my 8th grade year, where I just went to one camp after another camp, just visiting school after school after school, talking to coaches, getting to know teams and players. And I had it narrowed down to top 3 different schools that I wanted to go to. I won't say who they are. But I ended up choosing Creighton, and I committed the summer before my freshman year to Creighton University. I loved it. It was a huge culture thing for me. I loved their culture, and my number one thing that I wanted was a female head coach.
Okay.
It was important. A huge thing for me, and I will, till the day I die, say I love the coach at Creighton. She was amazing. Kirsten Booth, love her. If you're listening to this, I have nothing but respect for you and your program. But my experience with college athletics was not good.
Yeah.
And it had nothing to do with the coaching staff or the players or anything like that. It was unlucky circumstances, mental health, things like that.
Yep.
But yeah, I chose Creighton for a female head coach, the environment. I was 14 and I liked Nike, so I liked that they were sponsored by them.
I will say that
it's a big thing.
The school
if it was sponsored by Under Armour, nope, not for me. Adidas out of here. Yeah, it was Nike. And it was kind of close to home. It was like a 6-hour drive from where I came from. So originally I didn't think that mattered to me, but it was decided that it did.
Okay.
But yeah. So then I went and I right after I graduated high school, a week later, I went and moved in and did the summer semester and started training at Creighton. And my whole life, I've struggled really bad with just crippling panic disorder and anxiety. Like when I was a kid, I could not go to school. There was a long time where I didn't go to school because I couldn't get to school without having panic attacks and just... Sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry for putting you through that hell.
Yeah, well, my question is going to be, how did your parents, I don't want to say, react to it, but, were you supported by your parents when you had those panic attacks?
I was very supported by my parents.
Or, with any kind of mental disorder? Because I know there's some parents out there that are I don't believe in mental I don't believe in medication helping blah blah blah.
So my mom's sister, my aunt, her and I are the same medically, we're the same, and she struggled with the same thing growing up, so my mom was very exposed to it, but she didn't know how to deal with it as much. She's learned through me, but she's very helpful, and she was great about it. I'll always be thankful for that. But
good support system. Yeah.
So the first week before I even went to Creighton, I was supposed to be at Creighton and training and stuff a week before I got there because I didn't get out of bed for a week because I just had panic attack after panic attack after panic attack.
Well, was the panic attack because you were finally moving away from home and going to college and having that you're starting this new phase of your life that is unfamiliar territory. You don't know what to expect. It's new.
Yeah, so I've never been good at transitioning. So pivots in life and stuff like that. So it was a mix between that, not knowing if it was what I truly wanted to do, and just the unknown.
Yeah.
And so eventually, with working with my parents and the coaches who were super supportive throughout this whole thing, I was able to go there and start training. But where I was in my mental space, it just wasn't good.
Yeah.
And I already had some previous injuries, just my back wasn't great. And at this moment, I did not know, I never had it diagnosed or anything. I had stress fractures in my spine from my senior year of high school. And I felt my back hurting, but as a tall woman, you go to the doctor and be my back hurts, and they're
arthritis, you're fine.
You're tall.
Yeah.
Suck it up.
You grew too fast.
Yeah. So I go there, and I will always say the best volleyball that I ever played was my junior and senior year of high school, because I go to college and I couldn't play. My body was so slow, and I couldn't move because I was in so much pain.
Yeah.
And so I was sent to a psychiatrist and spine pain and health clinic, and I was just put on a bunch of drugs. I was on panic attack meds, antidepressant, sleep meds, anti-inflammatory, pain medications, muscle relaxants, all of the above. Like, I was a walking pharmacy. And I turned into a robot. Like, I wasn't there mentally. And so I kind of feel bad for like that season at Creighton, because they never got the full Eve as a player.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
Because I couldn't move. I wasn't me. I was a robot. Because I was just on all these medications that I just shouldn't have been on. I should have been getting like physical therapy help, all these different things, letting my body heal. And eventually, like, obviously the coaches were like, this is not what I signed up for. Like, she sucks. And I'm like, that, but like, I'm looking at myself. I'm like, why can't I play? Like, this is not me. I'm such a better volleyball player than this. I was the number 30th recruit in the nation, and I can't freaking pass a ball. And I didn't know what was wrong with me. I just thought I just came around all these amazing players that were so good that I just like sucked. But it wasn't that. It was so many outstanding things. And by the end of the season, I had a talk with the coaches, and I told them like everything, and they're like, we had no idea you were on these medications. And so I talked to a different doctor. I stopped all those medications, and I finished the like last couple of seasons or weeks of the season. And then I had another talk with the head coach, and she's like, it was like a switch. Like, you were a completely different person and player and someone to be around as soon as that stopped.
For sure. And
I was like, I told the head coach, I'm like, I love you. I love your program, but I'm going to go get my own advice from my own doctor.
Makes sense.
I went to my own doctor. He took an x-ray and MRI of my back, and he's like, girl, you're done. Like, you're done. Like, I can't tell you to stop playing, but I'm highly recommending that you do, because so I developed something from having those untreated stress fractures in my spine. I developed degenerative disc disorder. Say that 10 times fast. Which is where one of your discs or a couple of discs in your spine gets destroyed, and your discs are used for cushion. And so when some gets destroyed, it just slowly starts going up to the next and the next and the next. And he's like, you will destroy your spine if you keep playing, and you will have the spine of an 80-year-old within 5 years. And you'll be in a lot more pain than you are now. You'll be like all this different stuff. And so I go back to my coach, and I'm like,
appreciate the opportunity, but
like, yeah,
your girl's
I was like,
back.
I can't do this. Like, it's not what's in best for me. And eventually volleyball ends. Nobody plays volleyball forever. Whether I went on to play professionally or anything, it would have ended. And so I was like, I just need to bite the bullet now. And so I was like, I love you guys. I have nothing against you. You're probably like, get this girl out of here, she can't play, kind of thing. But it had nothing to do with my volleyball skills and ability. It had to do with everything else, because not to do my own horror, but I was good. I was good, and it wasn't just because I was tall. And so I was like, okay, it's time for me to go. And I was like, okay, it's December. I just dropped out of college from this school. What am I going to do? I was like, I have no idea what to do right now. So I literally Googled colleges near me and looked at everything. And when I committed to Creighton, I had no idea what I wanted to do because I was, 13, 14? And Creighton's a very medical science school. It's not what I enjoy. So I didn't know what I wanted, but I knew it wasn't that. So I ended up transferring to Iowa State. By the time I transferred there, it was within 2 weeks of me dropping out of Creighton. So it was very, very quick. I went there, and that's when I decided I wanted to be an industrial design engineer.
Okay.
So then I went through And I got that degree. I'm finishing up my degree in environmental science right now.
Almost done with college.
Yeah. And
then real world is gonna hit.
Yeah.
Smack you like a train.
Yep. And then I coached at the local high school, at Ames High School. Mm-hmm. There to keep connected to the game. But yeah, that's kind of how that
that's good.
turned out.
I mean, it's unfortunate that your career had to end that way, but at least you were still active with the sport, you know.
Yep.
Coaching the high school team. Now just flipping things a little bit. Do you have siblings? How tall are your parents? If you do have siblings, how tall are they?
Yep.
Did you get along with your siblings? Like, did you rely on each other as you were growing up with your height?
Yeah, so I have one brother. He is about the same height as me. He's about 6'5", 6'6".
Okay.
And my dad is around 6'4", and my mom is around 5'11". Okay. My mom has really long legs. My dad has a really long torso. Okay. Put them together, boom, you have me. Yeah. Who's taller than both of them. I've had, like, obviously, like any family, up and down relationship with them. My brother and I were complete opposites. He loves band and all that stuff. He's super philosophical, loves history buff, all that stuff. All that stuff makes me want to gouge my eyes out. I can't do it. I hated history. I hated all that. I played the drums, like the drum set, for like 3 years in middle school, and then called it good. I was the jock kid in the family. So him and I never really, like, we had a good relationship, but we didn't really have that much of a relationship because he was always doing his thing. I was doing my thing. Yeah. But yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so just a couple of, like, rapid fire questions. Okay. Hobbies outside of being tall and volleyball, I like crafts. I'm a crafty girl. I do all kinds of crafts. Rapid fire. Homegirl. Oh, rapid fire. Rapid fire. I like to crochet. Okay. Music. And I like to read. Okay. What kind of reading?
I'm a fantasy.
Interesting.
I know. Don't hate on me. I love that. Like dragons. Me some dragons.
Absolutely not. To each their own. Okay. Hobbies. Favorite music.
I like
music / artist.
Divorced Dad Rock. I love Nickelback.
And this is where we are completely different,
yeah, we are so different on this. I love the Rex. It's a smaller indie rock band, and just because of that, I also do country. Okay. I do country and I do Divorced Dad Rock. Those two, and there's nothing else that I listen to.
Unique taste. Favorite color.
If it has to be within the rainbow, purple. Outside of the rainbow,
bro,
jade
I
green.
said rapid fire.
Sorry, I'm not a flat person.
Clearly,
I am bumpy. I have
clearly.
So purple and jade green.
Okay. Do you have pets?
Yes, I have a dog named Chloe.
How old?
She's 9. I'm getting better at this rapid fire.
Yeah, thank God. Favorite TV show.
It's a favorite TV show.
And then favorite genre, I guess. Is it genre?
Yeah, genre. I don't know. I watched a lot of TV. I don't know if I have a favorite.
Rapid fire, boo.
Oh, I'm sorry. Psych.
Favorite food.
Favorite food, breakfast food.
If you had to eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Eggs, bacon, toast.
Favorite candy.
I don't like candy.
Favorite savory.
Spaghetti. I love me some spaghetti.
Not pancakes.
No. I like pancakes too, but I love spaghetti.
Well, alrighty. That was a wrap on episode 3 of Getting to Know Eve McGill.
All about me.
We hope you guys enjoyed this podcast, and we would love any feedback that you guys have. Submit any questions that you guys have. We would be more than happy to answer those in future podcasts.
We'll get to as many as we can.
Yeah,
I promise we read all of them.
Yes, we have a lot. So give us a little grace, but we will get to them. But until then, we will see you guys next time.
Thanks for listening.
Yep, thanks for listening. Toodles.